And hello, Henning here. Today, not with a guitar in my hand, that's coming, but in my former bedroom, now editing suite, where I do most of my work. And I'm not in the big studio, which means I have a desk in front of me that needed speakers. Now, the ones I use in here are the KSD something C5s. And they're very nice, and they're rather small, but not as small as the speakers we're looking at today. Also, different price points. So, Adam Audio, German company, contacted me. I've never had any experience with Adam Audio speakers, but many of my friends had, and I hear very good things. And so the first thing they approached me with are these tiny things. I mean, they are really small. Amongst actually the smallest studio-grade monitors I know, and we're going to compare some sizes and features with other brands. Now, these are not necessarily the most pro. You know, a pro speaker will run you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a piece, but they are a serious level up from your typical PC speaker, from your typical, entertainment Logitech thing, which you really don't want to do audio work on or video work. You want transparency, you want low-end response, and you don't want muddy low-end response. You want to know what the kick drum and the bass is actually doing. And this is what these are made for. On a budget, rather small, you can actually put them in a backpack and still do professional work, either on the go or on a budget or on a small disc. Now, that's what we're looking at. Before we can look at it, let's take them out of the box and see how they come. Next, we're going to look at some features and just some nice product shots that we took. Now, these are, as I said, these are small. And one of the nice things is they come with this little stand. They are not the speakers where each of them gets plugged into your audio interface or whatever independently. Actually, one is the master, the other is the slave. So the one actually gets the power. It gets all the connections. Could also be run with USB-C. So you could literally just take your iPad or computer, your laptop, plug them in. So these are great for a songwriting session or a production session on the go. They would fit in a backpack, and then you can go somewhere to a songwriter, do the work there, but actually have some decent speakers with you. Everything hooks up to the one and then connects with a cable to the other one, which is a pro in terms of ease of use. It's a con in terms of that you need that proprietary cable. And that cable is of a limited length. So here, with my monitors left and right, the cable barely fit to actually span the range. Let me show you the setup.
Town itself in half. It's like smoke, kids coats one thing, a twinkle twinkle in the eye where the chaos begins. Butters equations the world can't decode in the fish layer where secrets explode.
So after this, I worked with them for about a week and a half, producing tracks, playing guitar, bass, programming drums, mixing, and you can't really hear what they sound like in a video. It's pretty pointless. But we can hear the results. We can hear what I mixed on them. Didn't go to any other speakers, just the information I got from the D3Vs. So let's check out some of those mixes.
Withered on a 6-string fling. No cable tangled ignite the spark. A roaring beast tearing through the dark. From giants of buzz and tones so grand. This board may soon rule all the land. Chuck, chuck, the all-in-one machine. Chuck, chuck, an electric dream. Chuck, chuck, feel the ground quake. It's your friend on the stage, make no mistake. Sonic spells, each stomp a story, each tone compels. From eastern streets to concert halls.
Look so deep where the shadows play. An old man professor makes the world obey. With gears and sparks and a crazy laugh, got a plan that will split time itself in half. It's like smoke, its coat's one thing. A twinkle in the eye where the chaos begins. Butters equations the world can't decode in the fish layer where secrets explode.
Okay, let's look at some stuff. One thing I want to point out, which I stole from Jonas Wagner from Recording Blog, is a German page. I watched his review and I'm just going to pretty much copy what he said because it's a good video. I love, he loves, we both love that they're using these cardboard wire frames. Usually the wire is encased in plastic and on their cables, sustainably done in cardboard or paper. Very nice. Comes with this USB-C cable for either audio connection or firmware update, and very nicely done. There's an adapter to USB-A. That's how it's done. Nicely done. So it comes with an external power supply, as you could see, and I can show you where the other one is here. Right there. You can see that on the left and right, they got these low-end ports. These are closed. It's not an opening. So these are woofers on both sides, but they're passive. They're being driven by the air inside, and they pump quite a bit of air. And that's why you have a pretty good low-end response on these. This is the one that just has a cable in the back, nothing else, that carries power as well as audio. I wish that was kind of something like a 4-point XLR cable, like a 4-prong. An XLR cable would be a stronger connection and also something I can order somewhere with these 4 pins. And I could get a longer length if I had to. With this, I don't. I cannot, I have to use that cable, and that's about it. So let's get this one off the cables. Weight's okay. Absolutely love this foot that gives you a 15-degree angle. Big neoprene to disconnect it from the table underneath. And if you wanted to put them on a standard mic stand, which are affordable and would be stable enough behind a desk, there's actually a thread at the bottom. Very, very nicely done. I do like this angled foot, which is, as I said, optional. You can put them on normal stands as well. Now, the left one, that's how I connected it, has a knob, which is, I crank it up all the way. And different kind of length and button presses do different things. Like a double press changes it to the digital input versus the analog input, so you could actually use both. I've had other systems where once the digital USB was connected, the other one just wouldn't work anymore until you disconnected it. Here, you can actually choose, and the colors here are telling you what's what. There's also a headphone out, so if you're connecting that to your laptop, it's giving you a headphone out on the speaker. There is an auto turn-off feature, which is annoying as fuck, because a couple of minutes of no audio playing and the whole thing turns off. I'm playing guitar. Where's my guitar? I'm looking for all the different reasons why you have to click this again and, wake it up. That is something you can turn off, probably after a firmware update, because I couldn't turn it off with the procedure that they suggested, but that's my fault for not updating it. So there's different kind of things you can do all with a one knob. You might want to have a screenshot of the functions on the desktop somewhere, because who can remember how long you won't need to press what. Again, these woofers are pretty damn cool. It's a fully closed system. It's not ported, but these will come out quite a bit when you're pumping the low end, and they do have nice low end for the size. Now in the back, we got 1/4 inch in and the USB-C. That's power, and that is that proprietary cable, which again, I wish was a non-proprietary cable, but other companies do that as well, as we will see in a second. On top, you've got a position on a stand on the wall or in a corner, which will determine the bass response. Where it's on the desk, none, small or a large desk. Again, determining some frequency response. And is the room treated, moderate, or untreated? So I said treated because it's a little bit treated. I do, as always, recommend speaker calibration for your room, which you can do with some software from SonarWorks or whatever. It's always a good idea not to rely on the built-in DSP, but actually really change the frequency response for the room. In here, for example, my right speaker is 5 dB louder than the left, which means your vocals are actually moving over here if untreated, simply because of where it's sitting. This is a wall, there's a window. It has a lot of say on the sound, so doing some kind of calibration is a good idea. Top end on these is crisp. The hi-hat was always there. Low end is pretty enormous if you wanted it for that size, but again, I took that down a bit. Pretty neat speaker, especially considering you can take this off and actually fit 2 in a backpack, plus your laptop, and there's your mobile studio. If you have power, of course, because they're not battery powered. And that's an external power supply, which only goes into this one. Now, can they replace my KSDs? No, they cannot. That's not fair. One of these is $1,000. Adam Audio has some very nice higher end speakers that would want to, compete with these. And I don't know, maybe they can, but that's not what this is for. You will not put these in a backpack, and these don't have USB input, so you actually don't need an audio interface. You can plug straight into this, which is very nice for a bunch of different situations. If I was doing mobile video production, as I've done before, I need a small set of speakers to take with me. I'm not going to take these. Absolutely not. Now, the market offers options. Okay, I have a whole bunch of these, which are nice. Those are the IK Multimedia iLouds. They have individual inputs per speaker, so not that cable. They have an IEC right there on the speaker. They do connect with USB to actually do measurements. So it comes with the iLoud something software, so you can do calibration on these. It is a higher end speaker. Well, because it's $860 or something for the pair, not $329. So even though it would be deceptive to say, hey, look, that's kind of similar, right? Yeah, they're not. Similar in size and color, but a different idea. These also don't come with USB-C inputs. You can't run audio digitally. So very different. And if you're looking at these kinds of sizes, you might want to, well, definitely compare prices, but also these kinds of features. This, by connecting it all in one location and going to the other one, has pros and cons. The pro, much easier to connect. Con, that proprietary cable. Now we could say it's much more comparable to the Micro Pro from IK Multimedia. We could, this also connects with XLR and doesn't chain through to the other one, so no master and slave. So the individual, but size-wise, kind of comparable. I've had these with me in backpacks. This is a little bit, tiny little bit bigger, but this has the low frequency woofers, not ports, and this one is ported. So the low end here is likely a little bit less defined than on this. And these have a lot of low end. However, $550, $329. This is not a replacement for your, multimedia speaker on your PC. This in the price range is a little bit above a good set of speakers from Logitech or whatever, but it is a much more professional tool. I would not mix anything on multimedia speakers. Now, much more comparable are actually these Cali Audio UNF. You can see, size-wise, you cannot put these in a backpack, right? I mean, look at this. It's all black and black. I'm sorry. This is a much bigger speaker, but conceptually speaking, they also plug in here. This also does USB-C, quarter-inch. This also has RCA. However, these do also have Bluetooth, which the Adam Audio does not. Kind of saying, look, we're not happy with the quality over Bluetooth. We're Adam Audio. We're going to do quality shit, and that's it. Pros and cons. Bluetooth is kind of nice to have. However, the proprietary cable moving to the second speaker here is not a good connection. I've criticized that in the UNF video that I did for them. It comes out relatively easily and is proprietary. If it breaks or it's not the right length, you're shit out of luck. Price-wise, these are comparable. These again have a port, right? So it would lead to possibly a little bit less defined low end. And again, size-wise, very big difference. So this is a relatively easy bottom line. Full disclosure. When I first put them here and turned them on, I was like, ooh, where's the sound? Well, KSDs were louder. That's not fair. I just had to give them more signal from my audio interface, and there we were. It was just not set up correctly. But also, yeah, the KSDs fill more. They are bigger sounding speakers because they are bigger speakers, and they're also $2,000 and not $329 or whatever these are. So it's not fair to go, it doesn't sound like it used to sound. Yeah, because they're different speakers in a very different price range. So that's the full disclosure. My first reaction was, now, after a week, I like working with these. I get the results. Will I put the KSDs back? Absolutely, because I have them, right? But if you're looking at under $500, this is what I would get. Absolutely. Super small. I mean, here the problem really is size. I have a lot of speakers, other KSDs and whatever, iLouds, the big ones, and Cali, many different brands, but they don't fit here. I can't have a speaker that is, standing out here. I need something that works in the space that I have. And with these, I would even have more space on the table, and I can get the job done. I would absolutely put them in a backpack if I'm going to work somewhere else. Maybe even go on vacation if I have to do a little bit of work on vacation. So for the money, for the size, great. Hate the auto turn off feature. It's nice to save electricity, absolutely. And I think they're legally obligated to have that, but I couldn't turn it off, and that was kind of annoying for me. But you can turn it off. I just didn't do the firmware because I'm an idiot. My first experience with Adam Audio, and I worked with them for a week and a half and did a whole bunch of tracks and got good results. That's really all I can tell you. And they don't break the bank. And they're relatively small. And you can mount them, and you don't even need an audio interface. Laptop, this, bam, done. They did pay me for this video. I hope they will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. They said they would pay me for this video. That obviously means nothing. My opinion is my own. They're not getting to see this ahead of time. All the good stuff that we do on YouTube, that kind of thing. Thank you, Adam Audio, for reaching out. It really means a lot. Good job, period. What else can I say? If you're into this kind of thing, if you need a speaker for your table, but you don't have the budget or the space, check out the D3Vs. If you're disappointed, send them back. In that case, hey, Henning was not right. That's fine. That's totally okay. But check them out. That's all I can say. The results that I got, I'm happy with. We'll put links below and animals at the end.
Coalition, another strong